Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the City Skylines Beginner's Guide. Today we are going to be working on a couple parks. We're going to be doing an amusement park and a zoo, as well as upgrading our water treatment facilities by building a water treatment plant. I have added two DLCs, the Park Life DLC and the Mass Transit DLC. And so for those who know me, you know that the Park Life DLC I definitely have a love-hate relationship with. I like a lot of the buildings it comes with, and I think amusement parks and zoos are fun to build. And it is one of the most robust DLCs as it adds in quite a bit of different segments that you can build. So you can build city parks, zoos, amusement parks, or nature reserves, or like national parks, camping areas, and it's really fun. It's definitely something where in your cities, I generally only do about like one of each, so I'll do one zoo and then one city park, and then I do tend to wait until the city's a bit bigger than what we are now, but I felt like it was a really good time for us to kind of fill in some of these spaces. I added in the Mass Transit DLC because of the roads mainly. So it gives us the 4-lane highway and it gives us the 2-lane highway. And so now we'll be able to do lane mathematics, which we'll jump into later. The other additions with the Mass Transit DLC are ferries and monorails, which are great transit assets, but I don't think we're going to be using any of them in this city just yet. I think as we build out our downtown, we may use some ferries, but where we're at right now, I just don't think that we really need it. Monorails, I tend to use only really in downtowns. In my first series of Zillawood, I did end up doing a larger monorail network, but I do tend to prefer the metro now over monorail, though monorail does have its place. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing I want to do is look at our water availability. So we're going to go into the info views and we are going to choose this water tab. And so what we're focusing on is this sewage treatment. So if we come down here, we can see sewage production of 564,000, and we have sewage draining capacity of 749,000, almost 750,000. So what we want to do is pause the game and we want to delete all of this. Okay, and so now I have deleted that. And one thing that I did want to dive into before we move on to this other area, I did end up playing around with the theme, and anybody who's not familiar, I use a mod called Theme Mixer 2. It's just a visual mod, but what it does is it allows you to change the textures of pretty much everything in game. And so even if you're playing on a less powerful computer, you generally can still download this mod and still be able to kind of change things. And that's how I get things in my game to look a little different. I did end up changing the texture of our sand and our ruinings, and it's the reason why this looks a little bit better. I think it looks good. I didn't change our pavement or our cement, but what I'm planning on doing is building a theme mix and posting it on my Steam account. So anybody who's interested, just keep a lookout for that. I'll have it out within the next couple days. And so I'm looking at this area for our water treatment facility. I think it's a really good spot. It's right off the coast. It has this cliff, so it's a little bit of a natural barrier against any sort of noxious smells or anything like that. Though we are going to be using the eco plants. At the end of last episode, we had just barely hit 28,000, or we were just right before it. And so along with that, if we go down to this little lockdown here that says milestones, we can see 28,000 capital city. And what we have unlocked is the eco water treatment plant and the cargo harbor, as well as the harbor and ships. And so we are going to be utilizing these, just not in this episode. This is definitely something where as we build out here, I think what we're going to do is build out a cool harbor and really make it look fun. But the more important building is the eco water treatment plant. So if we go down to water, sewage, and heating, what we can see is this eco water treatment plant. And so what I want to do is go into our landscaping tab, and we are going to hit that level terrain tool. And I want to increase our brush size, probably to the large one. And let's go ahead and increase our brush strength to like right about there. And then let's find a spot on here. So probably about right here. And what I want to do is make sure that this is all level. And I want it to also be kind of a straighter edge right here. And we'll probably even take this one in just a smidge. I don't want to get crazy with it. I don't want to be too unnatural. But what we can imagine is maybe the water company purchased this land beforehand and they had already laid plans for the expansion. And so they graded it all in preparation of the new facility. And so now what we're going to do is go into our water structures, and this is in that same landscaping tab. We're going to come all the way down here to medium canals, and we are going to go ahead and draw a line going across. And I want this to be kind of big, not too big, but big enough. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to come out one, and then we're going to go ahead and go out one again. And then what I need to do is switch over to the shallow canals. And so now I'm going to go ahead and bring this into the water, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, bring it into the water. And the reason I switched to that shallow is because you can kind of see this is still just like a canal in the water. What we want is for it to do something like this, where it actually opens up. And so this is definitely something that, you know, in vanilla, it's kind of hard to get, but you just got to kind of play around with it. I did mess with the terrain a little bit here as well. but I think we could even maybe bring this one back a little bit further. Yeah, you know, that actually doesn't look bad. It looks like it's a little too shallow though, so what I'm going to do is just bring the terrain lower a little bit right there. And then what we can do is go ahead and delete this, go back to our shallow one. And you know what, it actually opened up right there. So that actually looks pretty good. If we go out one more, now you know what, it messes up. So we're just going to go like that. And so you definitely need it to be open in order for the canal to kind of flow. If it's not open, then you could actually get like a whole little backwash of water up here. Whenever you're dealing with water, it is kind of a tricky scenario to begin with, but there are a few things that you can do to make it a little bit easier. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and place these on the inside. And so these have a capacity of 160,000 each. And we can see we initially had 750, but we have a need of 564. So we need to go ahead and place down 4 of these in order to satisfy our demand. And so now we can go ahead and look at that. I think we may bring out the land just a little bit more on this side because I want to be able to fit a road in there. So if we go like right there, that should be good. And then let's go ahead and just level out these other sides too, just to make sure. Now what we need to do is go ahead and let's do our roads first, and then we'll do our pipes. So we're going to go into a small road, and I want to use the industrial road that we got with the Industries DLC. We're going to come all the way over here, and we are going to bring this across. And this is kind of a tricky thing to do. What you need to do is go ahead and go up. And so let's actually go down to the smallest step because this is a little extreme for this scenario. What we want is to potentially just go up 1 if we can, and then go across and then have this loop around. So what I'm thinking is we're going to curve it up this way and have it curve up this natural grade right here. So we're going to go back into landscaping. We're going to grab that slope tool. We're going to decrease this just a little bit. We're going to right click right here. And this is where I want the slope to end. And so now I'm going to grab this and kind of curve it around and then go back to that point where I had right clicked. And so the reason I'm doing this is because it's going to allow you to draw that road a little bit better. Anybody who plays this game knows that drawing slopes in vanilla is very hard, almost impossible, but it is possible. And so now we're going to grab this, and what we want to do is follow that. We're going to come up here and go all the way around, and then I want it to end right there. And so there we go. That actually looks pretty good. And you can see that our slope came out pretty good. We don't have any crazy kind of bumps. We do have a little bit of a bump there, but nothing to worry about. And so now I do want to come on this side, and I want to be far enough away to be able to fit in a couple more water treatment facilities. So we're actually going to turn on snapping so I can get the nodes off of that. So we'll come up here. I think we'll go like probably about like right there. Let's go ahead and test this out. And so I want to go back in here and I want to make sure that we can, yeah, look at that. Perfect. So this allows room for expansion, which is super important. If the water company were to have purchased this land, I'm pretty sure that they would have like a whole land use plan for this area in terms of the future and what they plan to do with this whole area, especially since it's right off the coast. And so in order to make this appear more industrious, what I want to do is go ahead and do an outlet, a little inlet road right here. And I'm going to go ahead and place a geothermal power plant right here, just because it's really going to help us capture a different look in here. What I could also do is just do some generic industrial zoning. I think maybe just a couple would be good. I don't want to get crazy with this though, because this would be owned by one company. And so I think what we're going to end up doing is playing whack-a-mole with this building until we get a building that we like. In the future with more DLCs, we do end up unlocking more buildings here, like the tanks and stuff like that, so that we can kind of put them in here and just make it look a little bit better. And so now that should be good. Now we have electricity. Let's go ahead and hook up our electrical plant to the outside grid now. So we're going to come up here and let's just follow this road since we know we're not really doing anything else with it right now. So now we will go ahead and go like this. Let's cross that road and just connect it up right there. And so now we are at a place where we can unpause, and we are going to have to wait for some flooding. And it's kind of funny, we built out that electrical plant beforehand, so this would end up turning into a major catastrophe. But water in this game is definitely fickle, so you got to kind of be careful of it. Anytime that you move terrain or build canals or do anything like that, the water tends to just come up onto the land and flood everything for a minute, and so you just got to let it run for a while and until the water kind of finds its place. All right, so I let it run, and you can kind of see it came up onto the land a little bit, but it definitely subsided, and so now this area looks pretty good, and I like the little accessibility that we put in here. And we can kind of see, ooh, we even got like a little container guy over here. So I actually think that that looks pretty good for this area. So I think we're going to go ahead and leave that for right now. I think in the future we may expand this out even further and then probably do a fence going all the way around. For right now, though, I think that this is good. There would just be like a little sign that says water treatment facility or something like that. And so now let's go ahead and move on to our bigger plans for this episode. And so the first thing we need to do is go into our areas tab. And so one of the cool things that was mentioned in the last episode by one of my more loyal commenters, VE5VV, was the idea of coming up with a land use plan. And I thought that was actually really cool after doing some research on it. And, I'm definitely not a pro in this area, but I felt like it would be really interesting to come up with a broader land use plan for this area, especially for redevelopment. Because we're going to eventually purchase this, probably within the next couple episodes, and start designing out our downtown, it'd be fair to assume that the city would come up with a broader land use plan for this area and for that area and for this area, because of future needs like airports or highway extensions, stuff like that. And so what I'm thinking right now is we are going to do our airport right here. We're going to end up doing an amusement park right here, zoo right there, and then we are going to need to funnel our highway into a different direction. Because of this being a downtown, this being a tourist area, this area is eventually going to be rezoned into a high density area. And so this will end up becoming an extension of the downtown, mostly because the interchange is right here and it's going to be really in close proximity to the downtown. And so it'd be fair to assume that maybe high-rise residential or even more offices would be here. And then we do need to figure out where our college is going to be. So colleges tend to do better if they are near your center of commerce for the area. So we would need to have our college within this 3 square area. I haven't decided if we're going to do the trade school, the liberal arts college, or the university yet. And so go ahead and let me know in the comments what you guys think. I still think we're a couple episodes away from that, but it's definitely fun to kind of think about this. And so if you guys have any ideas about the land use planning as well, go ahead and let me know. I'm going to go ahead and draw up a plan for this area so that we can use it as reference. And so right now what we're going to do is go ahead and purchase this square for 10,400. We can see we got a lot of resources, but we're not really worried about that right now. We do have a lot of oil though. So maybe let's go ahead and check out that oil real quick. So if we go into info views, go to natural resources, let's see, we just got a little bit on that coast. It would probably still be used because any sort of oil deposits like that would end up being mined. But because this is going to be used as our amusement area, we can maybe imagine that the oil deposits have already been mined, or maybe environmentalists have blocked the use of oil drilling in this area. And so now that we have purchased that, let's go ahead and jump into our roads. Let's drop down that speed again. We don't need it to be on 2. And so another cool thing with the mass transits other than the highway roads is it actually adds in a couple other roads like this monorail over road, this bus road. Though in vanilla, buses aren't restricted to these lanes. It kind of sucks. I mean, I wish that they were, but there's just nothing like that you can use in the vanilla game. With mods, you can use Traffic Manager to put those restraints on the road, but in vanilla you can't. So we're going to go ahead and grab this, and I want this to come up like right here, and then I want it to kind of curve around. So we're going to grab this, and we're going to curve it a little bit on the far side. And the reason for this is because that terrain is a little difficult to work with. So we're going to grab this and we're now going to turn it up this way. We're going to go like this, and then we're going to follow this around, go like right here. And we'll probably call that for right now. And don't worry about the shape of this. As we build out our road network, this is going to become a lot more uniform, but I do want to leave some space in here, especially with this beach, for us to do some tourism areas and really bring it together. And so let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do with our broader grid now. So based off of what we are doing already, we definitely want to continue our 10 by 10 grid pattern. And the reason for that, again, is because of traffic. So we're going to come out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to go ahead and go down and then go ahead and bring this all the way down and connect it up. And so we do want to do that again. We're going to come up over here. We're going to go out 10 and then we're going to come down, and we're actually going to have this curve into that road. And so I do want to have a road go across for this area. So what we're going to do is grab this, and I want to extend this road across. And I want to be mindful of these little ruins right here too. I want to kind of do a park around them. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and upgrade this road going all the way down. We do lose a little bit of zoning, but I feel like this is going to be really good access for this area, and so I don't really want to mess with it too much. I do wish that we had this unlocked so that we could extend this across. Because of the nature of this, though, we're a little bit off already, so I think maybe we could even extend this across and just do a bridge and have it wrap down here. And so I do want to put in a service interchange here, so we're going to go in here, we're going to turn off snapping, I'm going to grab my points and then have them follow this road. Remember, go all the way down, one above the ground, and connect it up. And we're going to do the same thing here, have it follow along. It looks like we're a little bit off. I'm not too worried about it though. We will make sure to follow that road, go 2 down, and then have it connect up. And then let's go ahead and do the same things on this side. Okay, and so we have our service interchange. Now what we need to do is go ahead and flip these to their respective directions. So we'll go like that, go like that. And so now we have provided more access over here. And this is really how you can funnel traffic, especially in a car-centric city like this. So now we have an access point right there, access point right there, access point right there, access point right there, and right here. And so any trucks or cars or anybody who wants to get around who is being stubborn about our mass transit, they now have some pretty good access for these other areas. All right, so now what we're going to do while we are here is go ahead and utilize lane mathematics in here. And anybody who has watched any of Biffa's content knows what I'm already talking about. This is something that you can utilize with your interchanges or even roads to help better manage traffic. And the sad part is in vanilla, it definitely doesn't work as well. With Traffic Manager, it works really well because you can do things like lane restrictions. And so each one of these little segments has a node in between the two bars, and that is how these cars will change lanes. And so there's two different approaches to this. You can either drop a lane in between the off-ramps, or you can add a lane on the outside. What I have found is that adding a lane on the outside in vanilla does tend to create some issues, though that's what we're going to do here because I do prefer it. I feel like it's just a better approach than dropping lanes in the middle, because dropping lanes does create a bottleneck. And this is something that does happen in real life. I know in my hometown of Las Vegas, there's a really big interchange where they drop lanes in the middle, and it just is a nightmare to go through, especially through traffic, because it drops down to 3 lanes. But then there's other interchanges where, like from here to here, it'll just add a 4th lane. So there will be an extra lane going all the way down. And that lane is for people coming on and for people going off. And so I think it creates a little bit better of a scenario. And so we're going to go into 4-lane highway with sound barriers. We're going to come all the way down here and upgrade this to 4 lanes. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side, upgrade it all the way down to that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. So we're going to go 4 lanes all the way down. And what this is going to do is just provide that off-ramp lane or the merging lane for people to either get on this highway or off of it. And having that 4th lane in there is also really beneficial. And so because we don't have another interchange on this side, what we're going to do is just bring it out 4. So we're going to go like right there. And it's just going to give people enough time to merge in, or people to decide that they want to exit. When you add a lane like this, it does give a dedicated turn lane whenever you don't have enough options. So like there's only 3 continues and then 1 off. So the game will give you that dedicated turning lane, which does help out. All right, and so for this back section, because we ended up putting the roads so close together, we are definitely in a spot where we're not going to be able to upgrade them as well. So what we're going to do is go ahead and upgrade 2 of these, and then we're going to come over here and upgrade 2 of these. And what that's going to do is just allow us to have those merging lanes without us having any issues with that. Because these 2 are on the same though, what we're going to do is just drop down that middle section. But now we can go ahead and unpause and let people kind of figure out what all the big changes that we made. And so now we have the merging lane here, we have the merging lane there, we drop down right here, so we give ourselves a dedicated turn lane. We've created a little bit of a bottleneck, but this should overall help us out a ton. And what we can do, actually, I forgot about this one too. So let's go ahead and upgrade this one as well. So we're going to go all the way down, and there we go. And so this should actually help out to increase speed in this area as well. Having that extra lane really helps out. Okay, and so before we jump in, I did want to go back to what we were saying with the land use plan. So I do know that I want to do the airport right here. And so we're definitely going to have to figure out some sort of access to the freeway. Maybe we'll upgrade this or something. But I think this is going to be a cool location because it's going to allow us to maybe incorporate this water. And anybody who is familiar with my builds knows that I love incorporating water into builds. If you really like seeing water builds, I definitely have some fun ones in Canalvale and Crater Lake. But first, what I want to do, we are going to be redeveloping this area along with this area. But I want to, so we have a park right there, we have a cemetery right there, and it actually looks like we didn't really even put any trees up around this or anything. So we are going to start phasing this out into more of a mixed use zoning. So there is not mixed use in this game, so you definitely got to be careful with it. And so what I normally will do is just use a combination of high-rise banning and zoning high density and low density next to each other, just to give some varying shapes and sizes rather than having them all be really tall buildings, kind of like what we got going on over here. This is a good area because we, have this commercial area, but you can even kind of see how I still have these smaller buildings next to them. It just makes it look more realistic in my opinion. And so now let's go ahead and finish our road layout. Then we're going to start working on that amusement park. And so this is already looking pretty good. I don't think we're going to mess with that today. I definitely want to leave that open for our future airport build. I feel like that would be pretty important. And then I do want to come in here and start zoning in some of this. But first, let's go ahead and jump into our amusement park and our transit stop in here. So I want to go into the transit tab. I want to go to Metro. And one of the sad things, the mass transit DLC does not really come with any more Metro stops. It's not until you get into the Bridges and Piers content creator pack or the Plazas and Promenades DLC that you really start seeing a lot more Metro stops. We are going to be adding in the Bridges and Piers DLC here soon because it is definitely one of my favorites. So now we're just going to go ahead and place that right there. And then what we need to do is connect this up. All right, and so for our metro line, what I'm thinking is we're going to grab this and we're going to come up all the way over here. And what I would prefer is to be able to meet up with this connection. I think it's going to be a little too tricky for us though, without actually coming this way, which that could actually be good because we are going to have a metro station in our downtown. So what we could do is go ahead and grab this. We're going to have to delete this water tower and we got to remember to place that back. So we're going to go ahead and go like this, and then we're going to grab that freeform tool and we are going to wrap this down. We want it to be pretty close to that highway, not right next to it, but close enough. So then we'll go like this. And then what we're going to do just for now is have this turn in. So we'll go straight just to get it far enough. And then we're just going to have it turn around. This is going to be more of like a future placement than anything else, because as we expand out, we're obviously going to make this into a better connection. But for right now, this is just probably the best thing we got. So we'll go ahead and go like this, and then let's go straight. And then let's begin to curve this along that road. We'll go like right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just follow this road all the way down. One of the cool things with doing this, if you have road guidelines off, you can see that it wants to snap to that grid. And it's just because I have this snap to grid feature still connected. And so it allows me to run almost a parallel road next to this, or the metro track. And it's really a nice way to keep a good look in here. And so now we are all the way around. Let's go ahead and grab our metro track. Let's have it come up here. And then we want it to go like right there. And then let's go ahead and have it curve in, because I do want this to be kind of incorporated with our amusement park too. Having like above ground rail, like monorails and stuff like that are pretty common for like amusement parks. And so kind of wish that did look a little bit better, but it just because of this track, we would really have to cut it in and cut it across these to make it look a little bit better. So I think that this is probably our best scenario. And the cool thing is we can actually put some zoning still on this side, which could look really cool. But I think this looks good. Don't worry about this whole design right now. It's just because of our borders. We really don't have too much else that we can do with this other than maybe bringing this underground. So I'm actually going to try to put this underground real quick and see what it looks like. Okay, and so we have connected it up underground, and it actually looks a little bit better. I do want to fix this slope though. So if we grab this, let's go ahead and go out. Let's go up one. Let's go ahead and decrease that step. So we're going to go down, and then it does look like we're going to be, oh, you know what? That actually looks pretty good. It looks a lot better. Let's go ahead and check out this side too. So you can kind of see this just a little too steep. So if you bring that back, come over here, let's go ahead and go down to, and then connect that up. Yeah, you know, that just looks a lot better. And so now we have connected this up. I do wish that this was a little bit better. We may play around with this in the future, but okay. And so there we go. I did end up playing around with this a little bit, but I think this looks pretty good. I like that it runs along this little coast right here. And I really like the above ground metro. I think it is just a fantastic feature. And so now what we can do is go ahead and jump into this metro line tool, and we're going to grab that little where it says the stop, drag, stop to move it. So we're going to hold that left mouse button. We're going to bring it all the way down here, and we are going to place it down there. And one of the things you do need to be aware of, whenever you move the stop like that, it means that there are no longer stops here. So you're going to grab each line, hold on to it until a stop appears. And you'll notice a stop appears by the little dot that coincides with the stop. And so now we have a metro line that's going to come all the way out here. And I think this looks fantastic. And so now let's figure out what we're going to do for our amusement park. So I do want to have a collector coming off of here. We're going to go ahead and have it come right here. And so now let's go ahead and have this loop this way. And we'll go ahead and go this way as well. And so we will go like this. Let's go ahead and connect this up now. And I think we're just going to go ahead and loop it around just so that we can get something cool in there. Yeah, I think that looks good. It is already kind of encroaching upon our land a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. So now we will come into the Parks and Plazas tab, and a couple tabs that we have unlocked with the Park Life DLC. So we have unlocked the City Park, the Amusement Park, the Zoo, and the Nature Reserve. And so these are 4 distinct parks that each have their own leveling system, unlocks buildings that are associated with the Park Life DLC. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of creators think that this one's the best. Because it does come with a lot. You know, it definitely comes with a lot. And so you have a lot of opportunities with it. Another big part of the Park Life DLC is you now have this paint park area within the districts tab, and it's right next to the industries tab. It is very similar to industries, and so they don't overlap. So you definitely got to be careful. So like if you just cut that, it will actually get rid of the industry area. It also does with the Plazas and Promenades DLC and also the campus. And so you definitely got to be careful with that. You can unintentionally dezone a park or something like maybe even industry area without thinking about it, because the game just won't let them intermingle. And so now that we have placed that down, we have the ability to place a park main gate, but we're actually going to be doing the amusement park. So we're going to come in here and let's do this amusement park main gate. So I want to place this in a little better of a spot. So I think what I'm going to do is get rid of this loop. It's just not going to allow us to do something cool. So we're going to place that right there. And the first thing you'll notice is that we have hit level 1. And what that gives us is the amusement park side gate, amusement park souvenir shop, amusement park restrooms, game booth 1 and 2, which are just both left and right, the carousel, the park cafe, and the amusement park plaza. It also gives you a bunch of props like decals and stuff like that you can place down, like tables, just little fun detailing opportunities for your amusement park. And so what I do want to do, we're working with a little bit of a grade here. And though we could just build the amusement park off of this, one of the things I want to do is create a nice little step feature. So we're going to go ahead and go to that medium brush. We're going to increase our brush size. And I want to get pretty close to sea level with that. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring this back so that we can get a little bit of a ledge in there. So we're going to go ahead and go like this. I actually do want there to be a little piece up top. So we'll go like this. And we're just doing this to create a little bit better of a spot for the amusement park. I do feel like this would probably be a realistic touch. It really depends on the amusement park size though, because I know for like a Disneyland or a Universal, they would definitely level it all out. But then for a smaller like regional theme park, they probably wouldn't spend the money on it. And so it really just kind of depends. So now we're going to go into paths, and we are going to utilize one of our many new paths that we got with the city with the Park Life DLC, and it is the amusement park path. And these are actually really cool paths. So if we come in here and kind of show you guys, so we have the city path, we have the amusement park path, we have the zoo path, and we have, or that was the nature reserve, and we have the zoo path. And these all have corresponding paths that have trees with them as well. And so these are really great paths. One of the cool things with these paths too, over the vanilla paths, is that they actually terraform the ground. So one of the things you'll notice with the vanilla paths is that if you just draw like that, it doesn't really do anything. Like it just allows us to pour concrete off this cliff. I don't even know how they poured that. They'd probably have to do like big wooden housings for that. Whereas with the Park Life DLC, if you do that, it actually levels it out. So that this is a whole different game changer. And you definitely have pros and cons to both of them. I do tend to still use the regular pavement paths quite a bit because it doesn't terraform, because a lot of times the terraforming can kind of ruin the look you're doing. So now what I want to do is I want to come out here and I want to do a little bridge. I want to do something fun here. So we're going to come out here. Let's go ahead and decrease that step. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. And I want to go make sure it's level. So we're going to come out like right here. And then what I'm going to do is I want to go out either side. So we'll go out 128 and we'll bring this all the way down. And I want to make sure that this is going to be a realistic slope. So maybe if we go out 164. So now we're going to go ahead and copy that on this side. We're going to go out 164. Yeah, perfect. And so now we have created a nice parallel entrance for our area. And I think this looks really good. I like the look of it. And so now let's go ahead and do a little plaza in here. So we'll go ahead and grab this. Let's go 100 out. And then we're going to come out here and we're going to grab that. So one of the main drivers of this would obviously be the coast. And so we definitely want to be careful. We don't want to ruin too much of our coast. We want to utilize this. So I want to use this whole area for some rides, this whole area for some rides, and I really want to make it fun. And so now let's go ahead and look at some of our first buildings. So if we go to the Parks and Plazas tab, make sure we are in that amusement tab. So one of the cool things that I normally do is try to do some entrances. I feel like they're pretty, realistic for amusement parks. So if we go ahead and grab this, let's put the Park Plaza right in the middle, and then what we're going to do is just utilize the 2 cafes, and we're going to put them on either side. And I know that this is redundant, but it just allows us to maybe have like 2 separate cafes. Even though they look identical, we'll just say that they are different. And so I do want to kind of terraform this land a bit too. We're kind of a little bit closer than I was hoping. So I'm going to go ahead and shift this back probably 1. Okay, and so now I have shifted it back, and it's just going to allow us to have a little bit more room because I would prefer not to have to terraform. So now I'm going to place that plaza back and the 2 cafes on either side. And so now I want to go back into our path, and I want to come off like right here, and I want to go right in the back. We're going to go just like that. And so now let's go back in there, and I want to utilize our little arcades. We're going to grab this and we're going to have it go just like that. We're going to grab the opposite side and we're going to have it go just like that. And so now we've already created a pretty cool little area. It has a nice look to it. And I really like it. It provides a lot of detailing opportunities. And so now we do need to get our first ride in here, and we still need to do the restrooms and also the souvenir shop. So let's actually we'll do a souvenir shop right here. And we're going to do the souvenir shop just off the backside. And then let's do the restrooms right in the middle, just because I feel like that would be an important thing to have. I do want to have the carousel also really close by, right next to the main entrance. So let's go ahead and do a path what I'm thinking is we'll put it right here in this corner. So we'll grab the carousel and let's put it right there. Let's make sure that we're not kind of getting all over our terrain a little bit. No, that looks pretty good. And so now we have a carousel that comes right off the top. What we can do to make this look a little bit better is actually to encase it with our path. And then that's going to allow us to do some trees and stuff, maybe even utilize our decals, make it look a little bit better. And so we have already utilized most of our buildings in here, and so we really don't have much else we can do. What I want to do though real quick is just go ahead and place in some of these decals and fill in this area. So this is kind of tricky work. A lot of people may find this even boring in the game, but it is something that can really take your area, your city to the next level by utilizing the decals. And there we go. One of the things you do need to be mindful of with these decals, if you ever place them on top of each other, you do tend to get this little switching in there and it just doesn't look great, but there's really not a whole lot you can do with it. Also with these sprites, they do tend to bleed through a little bit. And again, there's really just not a whole lot you can do with it. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and place down some tables in here. These would be areas for people to eat and just kind of relax. Maybe they've been walking around all day and they're getting tired and so they want somewhere to go. We're going to go ahead and place one of these little balloon guys right there too. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So these parks do operate on a leveling system. So if you go ahead and click your main park, you can hit park area info. And just like the industries tab, you have 2 slots, infos and policies. And so if you come in here, one of the things you really want to be mindful of is the price. The price is correlated to attractiveness, which is how many people come to your park. So if you have a really robust park with a ton of details and buildings and it's really big, you can increase the price and still get quite a bit of visitors. But whenever you're new, I definitely think dropping it down is a little bit better. So our total expenses is only $360 a week, so we're really not running in the red by too much. But what we're going to gain is new visitors. And this is actually a policy that businesses actually utilize in the real world as well, is just running in the red until you become profitable, and then you can go back to raising prices. And so now if you go into policies, you do have a bunch of policies that are unique to all of the parks. So, and it's one of the things that can be kind of confusing. If you go in here, even though we're in the amusement park, all of these policies are different based off of the type of park that you're utilizing. So this top one is animal ethic. This one is only pertinent for the zoo. And so advertising campaign is a universal one, which is normally good to have. So it draws 20% more visitors, only costs 20 a week. That's a no-brainer. Main park as well. If you have a really big main park in your city, I normally will click this. Fine for fireworks. I normally don't click this one. Celebrate's really cool, especially once you get after dark. So it'll do fireworks every night. Same with night tours. That's a good one to have. Draws 30% more visitors during the night. It's only costs 50 a week, so that's pretty cheap. Even more fun. So amusement park buildings are maintained super well, causing them to be even more fun than normal. Boost the entertainment effect of the amusement park buildings by 20%. So this one is unique to amusement parks, and it only costs 20 cents per amusement park building. So that one's definitely worth it. And then this recycle garbage is only for nature reserves. And so you got to be careful with those. When I first started playing with these, I would just kind of click them. And then I was like, wait, this one's not doing anything for this park. And so it is something to think about. And so now what I want to do is start looking at our land plan for this area. So I know I want to do a commercial area right here. I also want to do a commercial area right here, since this is the convergence of 2 major roads and it's right off the highway. Then I also want to do a small commercial area here, since we had a lot of dezoning in here. And so we do need to do some schools, we need to do some services, and we really need to start upgrading this area. So let's go ahead and see what we have in this area. So we have a small medical clinic right there. We know we have funeral service right there. We also have a small fire department and a small police department. So maybe we'll actually, I was thinking about putting a bigger one in there, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and use a hospital over here. And the reason we're doing the hospital is because it's going to really allow us an opportunity to do something fun in here. So I want to go ahead and grab this. We're going to turn on snapping, and I'm going to have it just go out and turn into a cul-de-sac, since this is going to be a service area. So this would be just for the hospital. So we're going to go ahead and place the hospital right there. And we do have an opportunity to do something else across the street potentially. I want to have our own space for the fire station and also the police department though. So I think maybe we'll do a park right there. So let's go ahead and find out another location. This really is a centralized spot. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll do it right in here. This could be a good spot. So maybe we will grab this. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. So we're going to do a cul-de-sac. And so now what we're going to do is go ahead and place our fire department and our police station right next to each other. Since this is really a good location for this, it's going to provide coverage for the broader area. We even have a green kind of going way up here, though we'll probably have to do some smaller services over there. And so now we can go ahead and unpause. And so we do have a small demand for residential, a medium demand for commercial, and a pretty decent demand for industry or offices. And so I know I want to get some office space in here too. So because this is our collector, we would want to provide our offices off of this and maybe do residential in the back. And then I think in this area, we'll probably do some residential as well. And I do want to start utilizing high density as well. And so before we do that, let's go ahead and do our paths real quick. So I'm just going to grab our paths. I'm going to start using this park path. And I'm going to connect up these connections. And there we go. And so now we have some awesome little path access in here. We've broken up our grids a little bit. This is looking pretty good. All right, so now what I want to do is go ahead and utilize our office zoning that we got with the high density. And we're going to come in here and we're just going to do little blocks. I don't want to go all the way down. And this is something that I actually learned from Overcharged Egg. He's definitely the master when it comes to vanilla detailing and stuff. He's definitely worth checking out if you guys haven't checked him out yet. But one of the things that he does is he utilizes smaller spaces and then you can kind of decorate around them and really make it look cool. And so I want to go ahead and go like this as well, go like this. Just kind of fill these in. And one of the things you can do too is just look out for what kind of buildings you're getting. And so let's go ahead and fill those in and we'll let these grow in. And that should satisfy a little bit of our industrial demand. If we jump into our info views and go down to this population icon, it'll kind of show us that we have a 7% unemployment and it all comes down to jobs. We just don't have enough jobs for people. And so I do want to do some high density residential off this backside, but I want to follow that same kind of pattern. So we're going to come in here, we're going to skip around, we're going to go like this, and then we're going to do the same thing, just go like this all the way down. This is something that I utilized in Crater Lake as well. And then I do want to go into our districts. So we're going to go into districts and areas, and we're going to paint this all as one district. And then what I want to do now is actually grab that district. So we're going to turn it on. It is called Hamilton District. And I want to go into policies. We're going to go into city planning and I want to do high-rise ban. And the reason for this is because I really don't want to get any super tall buildings. And so what that's going to do is limit the height of the building so that it doesn't get fully maxed out, especially for those residentials. They have a tendency to become really big really fast. Okay, and so now what I want to do is go ahead and move into some smaller zoning in here. And so what you can do is actually, instead of doing 4x4s, we are going to do 3x3s. And now we're going to go all the way down and create some little townhomes in here. And then we will then go to our low density back here. And so we will go ahead and fill all this in. We'll fill all this in. Let's fill all this in. And it does look like we have some room for paths in there as well. And so I do want to also fill most of this in as low density. So we're going to fill that in. This is already looking pretty good. We got a lot of residents in. We still do need to do our schools, and we'll probably need to do another cemetery or crematorium in here. So what I'm thinking, let's go ahead and look at our university or our high school and elementary availability. So we actually have some pretty good elementary availability. So one of the things we can do is go ahead and upgrade our high school. So if we add an elementary school down here, so we have an elementary school right there. If we add in one right here and also a high school, it should help us to satisfy that demand a little bit. And so if we come, I'm thinking like somewhere in the middle, this could actually be a good spot right here, right off the main road. So if we jump into our elementary and we'll go to the elementary and let's go ahead and place this like right here. And then let's do our park right next to it. And then I think what we're going to do, we could put the high school right across the street as well. Let's go ahead and get rid of this path. And then let's put in the high school and we can put in some sports and stuff, really make it into an area. We'll go like this. And then let's place our high school in here. So we'll go just like this. And then let's actually do a library across the street. It is going to get rid of that path, but I feel like this would just be a nice little education compound for right here. Yeah, you know, this will look better just because it's so hilly. But then let's see if we can get our library right here. Let's see if it can look a little bit better. You know, that looks a little bit better. It's still a little bit wonky, but it's just how the game runs. And so I don't think there's really too much we can do about that. And so now we do need to place down some other parks. Let's go ahead and place down some dog parks. We'll place this right here. Let's go ahead down here, place one right there. And then looks like we're already, so our residential's collapsed, but we have some demand for commercial and industrial. So now let's come in here and I want to do just a small bit of high density. So we're going to go ahead and go 3 and 3 right on that corner. And then let's come in here and we're going to fill some of these in with high density. So I want to do varying sizes. We really want to get different shapes and stuff in here. So we're going to go like that. All right, and so we have hit level 2 with our park, with our amusement park. And so what we can do now is look at some of our newer buildings. So we have unlocked the piggy train and the rotating teacups. And so I do want to create a couple more spaces with these. So we're going to go into our amusement park tab. Let's go ahead and bring our path out. I wonder if I can bring it past that. It looks like it's a little too close. Yeah, it is. So if we go ahead and connect this up, let's see if we can get our piggy train or the teacups over here. So they're actually kind of small. So if we bring this, let's go ahead and do a small path in. So we'll grab this, we'll go like right there, and then let's put our piggy train off of this side. Yeah, there we go. I think that's nice. And it's going to allow us to do some decorations around that, which I think is nice. So then let's go ahead and do a path up top as well. So we want this to go this way, and then we want this one to kind of curve along the edge right here. So if we go ahead and go like this, let's do our first one up here. Let's do the rotating teacups. So if we go ahead and do a small space, because we want to do some more souvenir shops and stuff like that up here, you really want to try to create a destination out of any of your little areas. And so now let's go in here. We're going to do the souvenir shop, place that right next to it. And then let's go ahead and do a bathroom up here too, since this is kind of a little farther away. So we'll do the bathroom right there as well. And so now we have our first ride up here. I really want to put the roller coaster right there. And so let's go ahead and look at our park info. So if we grab this, so we got 708. I mean, it looks like we're pretty busy. We got a lot of people coming here, a lot of people walking. Let's see if we got people coming from the metro stop. So let's come over here. Oh yeah, so we got quite a bit of people coming here just for the amusement park, which is great. So we actually might hit this next one pretty fast. And so our city's still coming together. It's our demand is still kind of fluctuating. We definitely need to get an industrial area in. But now what I want to do is work on that zoo. So I want to put in our zoo right here. So let's try to figure out a good spot to connect this up. Maybe we'll actually bring this back. So if we just have that begin right there, what it's going to do is provide a little more space for this zoo area. So now if we go ahead and bring this out, have this go like right there. Let's go ahead and delete that and line it up with that road guideline. Let's grab this and then connect that up. Let's go ahead and paint this as another park area. And so now we're going to go into our Parks and Plazas tab, and we are going to hit Zoo. And I want to do Zoo Main Gate. We're going to go ahead and hit this right there, and it gives us the Moose and Reindeer enclosure, the Zoo Side Gate, Zoo Souvenir Shop, the Antelope enclosure, the Zoo Restrooms, the Birdhouse, the Zoo Cafe, and the Zoo Plaza. I feel like you get a little bit more with the zoo than you do with the amusement park, but let's go ahead and bring this out. Let's actually bring that back. So what I normally like to do with these is to create a little plaza right as you enter. So if we go ahead and go like this, and then let's go out this way, and then let's go out this way, but have this one continue. So I want to have our Zoo Plaza go right here and then go right there. And then what I want to do is have these loop around, not like that. We don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and connect these up, and then we'll connect this up. And then I want there to be two more. So we're going to grab this. We're going to go like that. We're going to go like that. And then let's go ahead and bring this around again. So we're going to connect this up. And I think that this is just a cool entrance for the area. So like as you come in, you got this big like kind of sitting area. And then what we're going to do is do the cafes around. So we're going to grab this cafe. We're going to put it right there. We're going to grab that cafe, put it right there. And then let's do the souvenir shops as well. So let's actually have our path continue. So we're going to have this go like that. We're going to have this go like that. And then we're going to have this go like that. And then what we can do is put in our souvenir shops now. So we'll go ahead and put this right there. Let's go ahead and put that right there as well. And then let's do the bathrooms just across the street from that. So we'll go like that and then go like that. And this is really going to allow us enough room to do something fun in here. So now let's go into our first animal enclosures. So we have the Moose and Reindeer enclosure, which is actually pretty sizable. What I'm thinking is we will have this kind of closer to the front. So as you're like walking in, you can kind of hear the moose maybe. And I think it would just be a really fun addition for the area. So let's go ahead and line this up. We're going to go like right there. And then let's grab our path. We want this to connect up, and it looks like we're going to have a little bit of an issue. We'll go ahead and connect it up right there. And then what we can do is get rid of this. And then what we can do is let's look at our other one. So we'll go into zoos. Let's go ahead and unclick that. And then let's look at, so we got the birdhouse too. Oh, wow. So let's go ahead and do the birdhouse right here. Do the birdhouse right by the front. Yeah, that's awesome right there. And then let's go ahead and extend our zoo out, or our path. We'll go like that. And then let's look at our other one now. I didn't realize you got so many buildings right away with these. So let's go ahead and do our antelope enclosure right there. And then I do want to wrap this path around. So we're going to grab this, go up here. I want to go ahead and turn off road guidelines since it wants to be kind of finicky with us. We're going to go all the way around, connect that up. And then let's, we can't really do a path around that. What we can do is go ahead and connect this up though. And it does look like it's on a little bit of a hill. So maybe we won't do that. Maybe we'll just leave this as the only entrance for this area, and we could actually turn it into a little area too. So now we are in a very similar boat to what we are in the amusement park. So we're going to go ahead and drop down our price again because this is going to help attract visitors. So we want to go into policies. We want to hit that advertising campaign. We also want to hit this animal ethics. So it's boost the entertainment effect of the zoo buildings by 20%, cost 20 cents a zoo building. That's definitely worth it. And then we already have a main park. We are not doing fireworks. We don't have the After Dark DLC yet. And so I don't think any of the other policies are really worth it at this point. So what I'm hoping is because this is so close to this metro stop, we really should be able to start getting a lot of people in here soon, but we'll go ahead and see. So we're now going to let those run. This one should be pretty close. And let's go ahead and look at our zoning and see what we're looking at. So we definitely need to do an industrial area. Let's go ahead and do a small industrial area off of this side. I think it would just be a smart bet for this area. So if we grab this, have this go like this. Hey, you know what? That actually doesn't look bad. I think it looks good. It definitely changes the shape of our grid a little bit, but I think it still looks good. Okay, and so what I want to do is go ahead and create an industrial area off of this that's a little bit bigger and provides a little bit of a shield for this area rather than just being standard grids. So we're going to come in here, and what I want to do is create enough space for us to do a little bit of space in between rather than just having all the zoning right off that road. So if we go ahead and go like this, and then what we're going to do is come up again, we're going to go out 11, and then we're just going to connect it up there. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go out 11 and then connect that up. And then that way what we can do is actually avoid zoning right off of this road. And so we're going to go ahead and do zoning right there. We're going to do zoning right here. Then we're going to go ahead and do zoning right here. Let's go ahead and connect that up. And then let's leave some room for path access in here since we would know that it's still pretty important for industrial areas. And then let's go into our garbage and industry, and let's do a warehouse right there. And then what we're going to do is turn this into commercial zoned goods. And then I want to keep it on balance just because these are going to produce commercial zone goods. And so it does help out to kind of buffer things a little bit. And so let's come in here and just do a small bit of commercial just to provide, some shops for these people, especially as they're going to work. You would definitely want to provide somewhere for them to grab some food or something. And then it does look like we need to hook up electricity. All right, and here we go. We already hit level 2 for our zoo, which is fantastic. So we got the insect, amphibian, and reptile house, and also the bison enclosure. Man, we're really getting a lot for this. It's actually really cool. They're leveling up pretty quickly. And so now let's go ahead and bring this out. Let's look at our buildings. So we got 3 new buildings. I think one of them's kind of small. So this insect, amphibian, and so this one's actually not small. I was thinking it was a lot smaller. But you know what? It actually fits right there. Oh man, this could actually be cool. It is going to be kind of tight, but a lot of the zoos I've been to, they tend not to be super sprawled. It really depends on the space. But I really like that building right by the entrance. I think that is great. We're going to do a fence around too to make sure that this is closed off. I think that looks fantastic. I really like that. And so now let's come in here. Let's look at our bison enclosure. So I want to be a little bit further out for this one. So let's draw out our path. So we're going to come in here. Let's go ahead and continue this on. We're going to go out like right there. And then let's do the bison enclosure out here. And it looks like we hit level 3 for our amusement park. Man, this is really chugging along. So we got the swinging boat, the House of Horrors, and the bumper cars. And so we're going to jump over there in just a second and get that going. So let's go ahead and connect this up. Man, this is already looking really cool. I do wish that these were kind of connected. Maybe we could go up here and then connect that up. How does that look? Yeah, you know what? That actually doesn't look bad. Because then what we can do is go ahead and create a little plaza in here. So let's do our park plaza, and then let's grab our path, have this go around. So we'll go like this, and then let's do our restaurant. We'll have this come up there. We'll do the souvenir shop. Well, we'll do the souvenir shop right there, and then let's do the bathroom in here as well. Yeah, look at that. This is looking really cool. I like that little area. We're going to come through here and do trees and stuff too. And so let's look at our other buildings. So we have the antelope enclosure, which I thought we already had, but I guess not. So then if we come in here, let's do the antelope enclosure. I'm thinking right in there. But let's see if we can close these off. So if we go like that, and then let's see if we can get that antelope enclosure in here. Oh yeah, look at that. It just fits perfectly. Nice. I really like this. I think this is cool. And I like that they're really close together. We are still going to create other pockets. A lot of the zoo buildings tend to be really big later on. And so I'm not too worried about getting these spaces in. Then we are going to come through and do some decals and stuff. Just need to extend out our water real fast. And it does look like our water availability is getting pretty low. So let's actually do a water tower in here. Since this is a zoo, maybe they would have their own like water production. So we'll go ahead and put that right there and let's connect that up. So did that bump us up? It did, not by a lot. We definitely need to do another one. So let's come over to our amusement park and let's do a water tower right here as well. Maybe this one would be painted with like the name of the the amusement park like Chirpy Land. And so now let's look at our amusement park, Parks and Plazas. Let's go into Amusement Park and let's see. So we got the swinging boat. So this one's cool. It's actually kind of small. And then we got the House of Horrors. So this is like your haunted mansion. And then we got the bumper cars. So let's look at what we got. So we're definitely running a little bit out of space. Let's go ahead and do a path around. So if we do a path kind of following the coast. So if we grab this, let's go ahead and turn off snapping. I want this path to follow our beach area. So if we come up here, let's go ahead and go like this and just follow this around. And then I think what we'll do is we'll actually have a slope come down here. So we'll grab our slope tool and then let's make that a little bit smaller. Right click right there and have this come down. Let's maybe go a little bit bigger. So if we go like that, we should be able to connect that up. I think that looks a little bit better. It's definitely a little bit more realistic of a slope. And then that way what we can do is actually bring this up and do the hillside right next to that. Yeah, you know what, that looks a lot better. I like that. And then that way we can actually have our path extend forward as well. And this is, it's kind of funny. This is a design that I use quite frequently with my hills. Because then we can delete this. Let's have our path go straight. And then let's look at our new buildings again. So we got the House of Horrors. Let's come in here. Let's go ahead and do our House of Horrors right there. And then do a path around it. So we'll grab this. Let's go ahead and go all the way around. Let's turn on snapping so that we can get those angles in there. Yeah, we'll go like this. And then let's do our swinging boat. We'll go ahead and turn this into a little bit of a section. So we'll put that right there. And we'll do the cafe right behind it just because this would be a hot spot. So we want to capitalize on those opportunities to make money. And so let's go in here and extend out our path. We'll go like this. And this is already coming together really cool. Now we just have the bumper cars. So let's come down here and connect up our main path with this path now. So we will go straight, connect that up. Let's go ahead and go straight with this one as well. And then let's go ahead and bring this one out and we're going to curve it in similar to what we did with the road. So if we go like this, that way what we can do is actually do the same thing here. So if we grab that, let's just have it go straight. Why not? Go like that, connect it up. And then that way we can start to create a couple more areas with this. So if we grab our bumper cars, let's go ahead and put our bumper cars like right here. Our bumper cars right here. And then let's do another cafe. I really wish that there was more like cafes and stuff. It's, in vanilla, you can't play with assets. And so you kind of get stuck placing the same buildings a lot of times. But still makes it look good. We got a couple cool spaces in here. This is already looking really good, especially once we come through and detail everything up. It's really going to tie everything in. But we're already looking pretty good. We got our small little industrial area coming in. This actually looks pretty good. And I like that it's not on this road either. I think that is smart. And then we'll actually just do some paths in here because we still want to promote that walkability. Even though this is a little bit farther away, I think it would still be nice. Especially since we can also do a path in here. So if we do a path across and have it come this way, go down, 1, 2, 3. Then have it go down this way, then go straight in. So now we've provided a little bit of access with that little freeway bridge, which I think is nice. We do have a little bit of an issue with our traffic here. This is definitely becoming a problem. One of the things you can do though is go into roads, go into your highways, and since we have that 2-lane highway now, let's actually upgrade this to 2 lanes so that we can provide those left turns and right turns. So now we have a dedicated turn in here. This is really going to help out this area. We could even upgrade this one, but we're already getting a lot of movement out of this. Let's go ahead and check out our junction zone, make sure that we don't have any lights in here. We do, of course. I should have already known. Just automatically puts lights in all these areas. Just so unnecessary. So we'll go ahead and remove that. We'll go ahead and remove that. Let's put in stop signs in here. And then that way this road can still have priority. It does look like we still have some more junctions in here. So let's go ahead and get rid of those. We'll come in here, get rid of that light, get rid of that light. Let's come over here, do the same thing, get rid of these lights. We want people to keep going, so we'll go like this. Let's go ahead and tell them to yield, tell them, or to stop. And then we'll come down here, do the same thing. Let's tell them to stop, give priority to that big road. And then we can come down here, remove that light, and then go like that. And then that way that should help out quite a bit. We still do have a little bit of a line, but as you can see, it is already moving a lot faster than it was. And one of the things you can do is actually just remove the stop sign as well. Okay, so we have hit level 3 for our zoo and level 4 for our amusement parks. Let's go ahead and check out our new buildings. So if we go into the zoo tab, we can see that we have unlocked, what was the last one we played? So it was the insect, amphibian, and reptile house. So we now have the flamingo enclosure, which is actually a cool building. So if we come up over here, so I want to extend our path out a little bit, and I think we may even curve this one because I want it to curve with the road. So if we go ahead and grab this, let's turn on snapping, and we want it to come all the way up here and line up with this road, and I want to put a little side gate over here. So let's go ahead and turn off snapping so we can get lined up with this. And then we could put a road or just have it right off of there. I think having a road in here would be better, even though having the intersection is not going to be great. You know what? Let's have it come off here, and then we're going to have it go straight, and then we're going to have it dump into this smaller road over here. I feel like that's just the better bet. You definitely want to watch out with having too many intersections, especially with traffic. So now it's coming here, and we can put in our side gate, and then let's connect this up. We'll go just like that. Perfect. I really like that. I think that looks awesome. And so I do want these to follow each other. So we're going to come out here. Let's go ahead and go out 100. We're going to go out 100. We're going to go out 100 right here as well. Right there. And then let's go into the freeform tool, and we will connect these up. We'll go like this, go all the way down. And then that way we have created a parallel strip right here. We can go ahead and get rid of that. So what I'm thinking for the flamingo enclosure is something like right along these lines. So if we go ahead and grab our path, let's bring this out. So let's turn on snapping. We'll come out to say like 50, or we'll go out 40. Then we'll go out 40 here, and then let's go ahead and connect these up. So we'll go just like that. It looks like that's, it looks a little off right here, but I don't think it's the end of the world. So we will come in here. Let's go ahead and connect our flamingo enclosure up now. We'll go like this. Let's go ahead and bring it like right here. And then let's connect that up. So we'll come in here, go ahead and go like that, and then go ahead and go like this. Ooh, we could even have it go into the end. That could be good. And you know what, that actually looks good, because what we can do is just remove this middle section. That looks a little bit better, and it provides another opportunity for us to do a little shopping center in there, little cafe and bathroom and stuff like that. And so now the elephant enclosure is one of our first big ones. Let's go ahead and place this back here is what I'm thinking. So if we could even do, because we have the lion enclosure too. So let's go ahead and place the elephant enclosure going this way. You can see where that little arrow is. That's where the entrance is. We'll go ahead and place it right there. And then let's go back into our paths. And so I think this is looking really good, especially once we get the trees in here. This is going to look really cool. I like this little middle section in here too. And so now let's come in here and let's do a couple of our little cafes. So I know I want to do one right here. We're going to do the cafe, souvenir shop, and then our bathroom. And then let's come back here as well. So where do we have one? So we have some right there. We have some right there. So maybe this location's actually not the best. And it does look like we need to hook up water again. So if we come back here, hook this up. And so now we have provided another access point. I actually really like this. I like how it's kind of compact. And so let's go over to our amusement park, and let's go in here and see what we got in here. So we got the bumper cars already. So we got the drop ride, and we got the pendulum ride. So these are great. I want to put the drop ride. Ooh, let's do the drop ride up here. We could even do the drop ride right there. I was thinking the roller coaster though. Maybe we'll put the roller coaster over there off the coast. So let's put the drop ride right here off this edge. If we go like right there, oh yeah, I think that looks great. So now let's go ahead and connect that up with the path. And there we go. So we already have a couple little zones in here too. Let's check out our other buildings. We got the pendulum ride as well. So this one I think could actually look cool over here. So let's go ahead and do the pendulum ride like right there. Let's make sure that it's not like in a weird spot. Now that's actually in a pretty cool spot. And so let's go ahead and connect that up now. Let's go back into our path. Let's come this way, go straight. And then that way we can do some trees. And then we could actually do another little restaurant over here. This could be good. So let's do a restaurant right there, souvenir shop, and then bathroom. And these really help to boost your area too by placing these down. Again, I do wish there was more buildings, but there's just not a whole lot we can really do. Our industrial demand is climbing. So let's go ahead and check out our population again. So we go into info views, go down to population, and we can see we definitely have an issue with jobs. So we really need to get some more office space in here. This area is coming in pretty good. I really like this look. We could do some more offices in here, kind of intermingled, because we're getting into a downtown area that could actually look good. Let's go ahead and look at it first though, because we're starting to get some taller buildings. I still want to go for that mid-rise look. So I think this is, it's starting to look good, but I'm thinking maybe this space right here could actually be a pretty cool little office park. So let's go ahead and pause real quick. We're going to delete all this. And what we're going to do is create something similar to what we did before. So we're going to come in here. Let's go ahead and turn on snapping, go right there, come out this way, and then go ahead and connect this up. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing here, connect it up. And then let's go ahead and zone this in as office space. And we're going to be one off that road because I want this to be more of like a private kind of office space. Even though it's going to be different style buildings and stuff, I still want it to look cool. So we're going to go ahead and go like that. And then we will go ahead and leave this unzoned. We can leave that unzoned as well. And we'll come through and do some paths and really tie it in together. So we'll go like this. Now we got a little bit more office space. We don't have a lot, but we definitely need to get some more in here. We could actually, because of this transit hub down here, put in a couple commercial, but you know what? Having some office space in here would be good as well, because we got some great accessibility right here. And so now let's come in here. Let's go ahead and connect this up. So we're going to bring this across, and we need to delete that real quick. Let's go ahead and go this way. And then I want to get some high density commercial, just a couple. So we'll come in here, go like that, and then let's do some office space. So we'll go like this, and then let's do just a small bit of high density commercial. Not a lot. You definitely got to worry about the sound with these, and so we could end up getting some sick people with that. We definitely want to be careful. But that should help out with our job scenario just a little bit. We are going to come back through here and start redeveloping more on the next episode. We really need to get some more office space, but for right now, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and make sure that our electrical grid is still hooked up. It is, and our electrical availability is pretty good. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and let this run. We should be hitting level 5 with this pretty soon. Okay, so we have hit level 5 for our zoo and for our park. I decided to wait since it was kind of just going back and forth. I wanted to get them both done. And it's kind of funny, we were having some traffic issues, and so I ended up having to upgrade this to a 2-lane road. And so I think on the next episode, we're going to go through and actually look at some traffic strategies, because our biggest culprit right now is this interchange. And so I have some fun ideas. And so on next week's episode, we'll go ahead and address this. And so going back to our amusement park, it is now level 5. So let's go into the Parks and Plazas tab. Let's go to our amusement park tab. And I know the last ones we had built were the drop tower ride and the pendulum ride. And so now we have finally unlocked the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster. And so I think for the roller coaster, I really want to put it right here. I think off this hill. I initially was thinking where that drop tower is, but I think this would be a good spot. And it does look like we actually have some water issues over here too. I guess I just didn't check over here. And so let's go ahead and do our roller coaster. I'm thinking like right here. So let's get out of this view, go into info views, click that so we can get out of there. I think that this would just be an awesome little spot for it, because then we can do some more little shops in front, just make it look really cool. And I think with those edges, what we'll do is we'll go into the landscaping tab, go into landscaping tools, and just kind of soften this up a little bit. So right click around that edge. I really don't want there to be those sharp edges there. I think they just look really bad. And so now let's go back into our amusement park tab, go to our amusement park path. And I want to bring this way, and then I want to bring this way. And we want to make sure that that's not too much lower. Now that's actually pretty good. And so now I did want this to be kind of level with this. We're a little bit off though. So how can we make this look okay? If I'd move it, I definitely would shift this a little bit. So what I think we can do is maybe move that back just a little bit. Let's go ahead and build this path going this way. And then we'll have this go straight in. Yeah, you know what? That looks okay. This little angle right here doesn't look the greatest, so I think what I'm going to do is get rid of that. And then what we can do is grab this, have it curve in right there, and then we can have a road come off right next to our little haunted mansion. We can go ahead and drop this down as well. We don't need it on 3-speed anymore. Let's have this go straight. Of course, it doesn't want to go now, even though we literally just had it. So we'll come off this backside, and then let's go ahead and have this turn in. We'll go like that. And then we'll put another little food court right here. And so now let's place our last ride. We will do the Ferris wheel, and I really wanted this to be on the water. So let's see, you know what, this spot right here actually looks like it's going to fit well. So if we go ahead and put that right there, and then let's go in here and go to the soften terrain tool, and let's just make this a little bit better. Maybe we're going to have to level that out just a smidge. So if we go like that, and then soften this up. Yeah, perfect. That just looks so much better. And then that way what we can do is also extend some paths on either side, and then come off this side, go straight, and then come off this side and do the same thing. That way we can kind of encase it a little bit, and then we can do some other buildings in there, just make it look really fun. I am still kind of displeased with this design. I kind of want this to be a little bit better. Maybe we could even do a path off this side. So if we grab this and have this go just a little bit wider, what we can do is have the path go off the back side. Yeah, I think this is going to look better, because then we can enclose this, and then let's bulldoze this a little bit, because what I'm going for here is some symmetry, but also making it look good together. So if we go like that, and there we go. And so now we have some awesome little areas to do, like maybe we could do another little restaurant here. Once we get the city park, I think we'll probably come back here and do some gazebos and stuff, because that's really what I like to do with these. The gazebo is definitely my favorite building when it comes to the Park Life DLC. And so now whenever you're at this point, there's definitely a lack of buildings with the amusement park. And so what I normally will do is actually duplicate a couple of them. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab, we have a couple rides down at the bottom. So we have the carousel, the Ferris wheel, the bumper car. So I think we'll actually put the bumper cars up here since that is a pretty popular ride. So we'll go ahead and put this like right here, and then let's do a path off into it. Yeah, we'll go like this because then we can do some trees around that and make it look cool. I think this looks good though. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and do a fence around and then do some trees and really bring it together. I'm probably going to do some more decals and then some more seats, kind of clean up these open spaces since we really don't have a lot of rides. And then now let's go ahead and jump over to our zoo. So our zoo, we still have quite a bit of space. So I want to fill in this space. I want to fill in these spaces. And I know some of the buildings that we have left are pretty big. So we had left off at the sea life enclosure, which we're not placing. So we have the giraffe enclosure, which is pretty big. The monkey palace, which is actually kind of small. But then we have the rhino enclosure, which is pretty big, not huge. But then the lion enclosure. So we actually have quite a bit. So let's go over here and let's do the giraffe enclosure. And the giraffe enclosure has the little paths off the side. So you want to kind of be mindful of that. So let's go ahead and go like right here, and then let's grab our zoo path, and then let's go to our next one. And you really want to be mindful of placement of these. It's kind of difficult like designing these out, especially in such a small space like this. I'm definitely not a zoo architect, but we can come in here now. Let's go ahead and place this like right there, and then the rhino enclosure and the lions will probably be back here. So let's go ahead and place this one, and then let's go ahead and do the lion enclosure like right back here. And then that way what we can do is connect up our paths in a meaningful way. So we'll come back here, and then let's go ahead and go like this, and then have this come across the front. Of course, we're just a little off. So we'll grab that. Yeah, it looks like that's a really steep slope. So what we can do to remedy this is actually to grab our level terrain tool and to bring this out a little bit. So we will go into landscaping tools, grab our level terrain tool, and just bring this out a little bit. We just want to make that level so that the animal enclosure doesn't have to go up that huge hill. So then we'll come back here, and I'm pretty sure that was the rhino enclosure. So if let's go ahead and actually just attach it, because I don't want it to be too close to that highway. This one looks pretty good though, and then we can just go ahead and connect this up and leave some spaces in there, because I want to do some rocks in here too. I really want to get into some cool landscaping. So if we go like that, technically we have all of the buildings now, and I do think this middle section is a little weird. Because what we could do, let's actually get rid of this, and we could turn this into like a big plaza. So maybe if we go like this and then go like that, and then let's do some zoo cafes. So we'll do zoo cafe right there, zoo cafe. Let's do a souvenir shop, caddy corner, and then we'll do the bathrooms right here and bathrooms right there. But I think this is looking pretty cool. Go ahead and let me know in the comments what you guys think. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and jump into a detailing time lapse, and so I'm going to do rocks for both sides. I'm going to do fences all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and do some paths with some more amusement park entrances, probably right here and right there, just to provide a little more access. And then go through and do some trees. And then this is really going to leave a lot of room for us to do a cool waterfront, especially once we get the After Dark DLC and really start bringing a lot of this together. And I'm still leaving a lot of space in here for us to get some future use in. I really don't want to cram everything in and make it so that we don't have room for anything new. And then for our residential area, I'm going to go through and just do some trees, set up some paths, probably do a little bit more zoning, and just have it all tie in together, make it look really good. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump into that real quick, and I will catch you guys on the other side. Okay, and so we are done with the detailing. It's kind of funny, after I loaded in, loaded out of the game, I think we lost some sand here. I'm not really sure what happened. I think maybe because we put in the this foliage right here in the rocks. Sometimes I know that there can be an issue with sand. I've seen it with mods, but I didn't realize that it would affect the vanilla game as well. I'm really interested to see if we add in, as we add in more DLCs, if this is going to come back, or if it's because I know decals have a problem with the sand a lot. So if you place down these decals, you will tend to get issues with sand reading properly. And so it makes me wonder, like, if it's the foliage or these decals right here. And so we'll just have to wait and see. We obviously, if we're playing with mods, I'd be able to just add back in the sand, but we're not. And so this is our amusement park, and I think it looks really good. It actually looks better than I was anticipating. When I first started this build, I was not super optimistic about it. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was like, you know what, I feel like it could look better. But I really feel like this captures the look that I was going for. I ended up doing boreal trees around the outside, and this is really simple detailing. You can just do some foliage in here with some rocks, a couple little palm trees, accentuate those paths with those bushes like I normally do, and then just I added in some more rocks along the beach, and then I put some of these little purple trees in here. I added in some more decals just to create some bigger spaces in here, and then some more of those little jicama trees, and then just a lot of the same stuff. So I did some more rocks up here. And then for our residential area, I went ahead and put trees all the way through it. I did kind of throw in some paths here and there. So I connected this path up, and then I ended up using bushes in here in our little office park area. And then for this area, I just kind of did trees. I was going to do paths in there, but we already have these paths, and I didn't want to add in these sideways paths, as the road really kind of captures the look already we're going for. But I think this road right here is already looking really big. These buildings are much taller than I was kind of going for here. But it's because these are all those office buildings. I think they look good, so we're going to keep them. I don't really like how we have this huge disparity now, like these huge buildings right next to these buildings. I kind of wish that these were just a little bit smaller, like maybe halfway. We do have the high-rise ban on there, but what we could do is just go through and play whack-a-mole with them. But then I went ahead and just did some more trees over here, kind of the same deal. Accentuated those paths, just cleaned it up, made it look more realistic. I do like the view of this a little bit better. It's kind of more spread out, makes it look a little more realistic than that other side where it's just all tall buildings. And so let's go ahead and jump over to our zoo. So our zoo, I wanted to accentuate our little interchange right here, so I put in some rocks in these. I think it just looks really cool. I did some rocks in here. I did a fence around. I also did a fence around our amusement park as well. And then some trees. I think this actually looks really good. I did some more rocks in the middle. I made a little entrance on both sides where I just kind of roped the fence around. And this is something that you can do to just really clean up in areas. Use these fences. Just because you have a fence doesn't mean you need to close something in. You can really just kind of leave it open, and it helps to kind of accentuate a certain area. I also did the same thing over here where I did the fence around with these trees and then some rocks. And I put a big rock in here with some more trees. And I think this looks really good. I was definitely going for something more, foresty. It's a zoo. It's maybe more natural to some of these animals' habitats. Obviously not all of them, but I think this looks good. I like zoos. The cool thing with zoos is that you really can do whatever you want with it. One of my biggest caveats with this DLC is that I feel like there's just not enough buildings. Like this zoo, these buildings are great. What it really needs is more like restaurants and stuff. Like only having one restaurant, one souvenir shop, and then one bathroom just makes it so that you have to kind of spam the same buildings a lot. It's one of the reasons that I don't really like this DLC as much. But you can still have a ton of fun with it. I don't want you guys to feel like this DLC is not worth it. It is still really fun. Like, look at this area. This just looks really cool, especially right on our water. I really like the look of this a lot. And so I think we had a pretty successful episode. We definitely did a lot this episode. This was really crazy. And so if you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.